Happy Monday, Surgeaholics. Welcome to the Sooner Surge, a podcast that tells it like it is. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and it's the day after Super Bowl Sunday. The Eagles are the national champions. You have OU women basketball with a big win against Auburn today. Very tight game. OU commits 20 turnovers and still comes out on top. I think 73-71 was the final, but so that's some news. And then really other than that, Jay, it's just business as usual. Winter workouts and OU basketball in action on Wednesday at Missouri, and Thunder get another win. That's what they do.
Thunder dominated. I think tonight is Luka plays tonight for the first time. Did you see where they gave everybody there a Luka shirt? I thought that was kind of cool. But
yeah.
Hey,
I said start of a dynasty under Nick Sirianni. How is that so?
Hey, Ray's talking about the sportsmanship. I saw it, and Hunter brought up something. Maybe it was because Kelsey was right there, and he just saw Kelsey. But it was kind of odd that he passed over P. Ryan. I've seen them; they have a pretty good relationship, so I don't know why it happened or anything like that. But hey, let's get to this question because I got something to say on it. 918 says, if Moser was fired tomorrow, who would be everyone's choice to take over outside of Kellen? He has to be plan A, but who would be everyone's be plan B? I got a name for you. Hasn't been mentioned yet.
Rick Pitino?
No. Guy that's not.
What do you think of Rick Pitino?
Guy's not coaching at all right now.
What do you think of Rick? What about Rick Pitino?
Rick Pitino would never come to Oklahoma. Come on now.
I know. I'm just saying. What do you think of him?
I got an interesting name.
Who?
I don't know how it worked out. Ray Young.
Oh, please.
What?
He doesn't coach.
He's like a director of an AAU team. I'm just saying.
Wow.
What?
Wow. I'd go. Chris Beard would be my first call. Chris Beard.
They're not getting a guy like that. He's already in the SEC.
What about a guy like Grant McCaslin?
I don't think they'd get him from Tech. Greg Marshall's
Tech to OU.
Greg Marshall. Where's Greg Marshall at?
Not Greg Marshall. I do not. I can't. He's Porter Moser all over again.
Where's he at right now?
Tell you where he's not at is Wichita State.
Crutchfield.
What about the guy that was at ORU, Paul Mills?
Crutchfield from Omaha.
Yeah, Paul Mills, Hollis Price. Yeah, OU wouldn't go after Chris Beard. No chance.
No, hey, 918. I love Chris Crutchfield. If you remember where he's at, he's turned Omaha around. They're undefeated in their conference. They're playing really well. And the thing about Crutchfield is, if Joe C is still if Joe C is making the hire, he's got a relationship with him.
Why is Hunter saying that Paul Mills wouldn't leave Wichita State for OU?
I don't know about that, but hey, I mean Crutchfield. I'm trying to remember. Didn't he recruit Buddy? Buddy Hield, probably Trey Young.
A great recruiter. Maybe Isaiah Cousins too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do know Omaha's playing really well this year. Now Gary Gott says got to get a big name, make a splash.
I agree with the way the program is right now. No energy.
Well, who would a big name be, Jerm? Who would a big name be?
Rick Pitino's a big name.
A big name that they could get, Jerm. Come on now.
If it's not a big name, it's got to be someone with big time OU ties. Now, Buzz Williams, I like Buzz Williams.
Hey, guys, this is like when OU wanted to get. I mean, some of these names, it's like they're not going to get them. Buzz Williams, why would he leave A&M? Why?
He's not. You just said big names, Jay.
Big name that you could get is what I said, Jerm.
They're not Hunter getting. Says they're not even still in a Wichita State coach.
They're not getting an SEC coach. I would agree.
What about Kevin Kruger?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he's a big enough name if you're talking big name.
What if you think Porter Moser goes for the Indiana job? Huh? You there?
I don't know if they would hire him, but he might try to go.
What about a Mike Bray? What about a Mike Bray?
No, where's it?
I got a perfect name for you. Right now, you go do it.
Who's that?
Guess it.
Jeremy, coming from you, there's no freaking I can guess it because it's the little school ever heard of. I mean, it could be maybe it's at Midwest City right now. I don't know. Maybe it's in Sand Springs. I don't know what where you're coming from here. So
national championships. That's all I'm saying.
Are you? Huh?
He's been in the people have thrown his name up before on past hires before they went and got Kruger.
At OU?
Yep.
Dana Altman?
Nope. I'd like him though. This dude is Rico Suave Smooth.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that at Villanova.
Absolutely. Jay Wright.
He's not coaching again. I would love Jay Wright. He's not coaching again.
Jay, how do you know that? Jay Wright is the guy you go get right now.
He's not coaching again. That's an obvious hire.
Him, Jay? Yeah. You guys know him, huh? Oh, you guys know him. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would love for him.
I didn't know you guys were calling him.
Is Phil Jackson available? And hey, back to what Porter Moser Stan said earlier. I think he's right.
When did he retire?
Jim, listen up. I think he's right on something. And I mentioned it the other night. Whoever they get, it's not as much as how good of a coach they are. More is that can they get NIL money? Can they help with that? Can they get fans in the stands? There's a lot of things that need to be better at Oklahoma. I don't know if it would happen, but is there a guy out there coaching that you say would come and the fan excitement would automatically just be boosted, that you'd be like, oh, people are going to show up? Is there a guy?
I've said 3 or 4. I've already said 3 or 4.
Guys that are legitimate, Germ, legitimate.
I've named 3 or 4 legitimate guys.
Jay Wright's legitimate, right?
I'd say he's a legitimate coach.
Oh, come on.
You don't think he's a legitimate coach?
I don't think he's a legitimate chance to get him, Germ.
Okay. You didn't say what you meant by legitimate. I mean,
well, it was obvious what I meant by it. Now,
in that case, they better stick with Porter Moser because no one's a legit chance.
I do think Hollis Price or Kellen Sampson, the fans would be excited because of the past history with OU. That would be the only reason, is they'd be like, oh, he was an OU guy. That would do nothing for 1982 Boomer Sooner. I love the name that you threw out there because
I love Tad Boyle, but
yeah, I don't think it would do anything for me for an OU.
He loves Colorado. He's not leaving.
And I agree with this. And right now, my money would be on Crutchfield as far between those two, because he's doing it at Omaha. He's doing it right now. If you're going to get a guy from a smaller school, why wouldn't you go get him? I mean,
don't know, Jay. Let's move on.
Move on then, Germ. Moving on up. Wait, trivia question. Moving on up. There it is for the night. Trivia question.
The Jeffersons. That's not a trivia question.
Oh, you answered it.
That's way too easy for trivia.
Why do you got a suit on tonight?
Oh, I just got out of school earlier, parent conferences. So,
Germ, if you remember right, 2 years ago, we had just kind of a year and a half ago, maybe we had started the Sooner Surge, and you put out a YouTube short wearing a suit, and it was, what was the title of it? It was something Moser Magic coming up.
Well,
are you feeling some Moser Magic towards the end of February here?
Let me do my best, Porter Moser. Well, I mean, I liked really the guys we just, we got to get in the flow. We got to get in the flow, and just didn't like the way the guys, attacked, handled the pressure. It's just something we've talked about. And, we just got to, it's something. Yeah, it's something, just next game, got to get better at. Anyway.
Gosh. Hey, real quick, 2 Dubs, you're right about this. Kiwanis, I think, kind of the guy over Hollis right now. But 1982 brings up this name. This name would be a home run hire if you could get him. I don't think you could get him. That would be a great hire.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Like Porter Moser Stan says, please no.
Well, hey, Porter Moser Stan, what is it you don't like about Tang? What is it you don't like about Tang? I think he's good. What's up, Javion? How y'all doing? Go Birds and Boomer Sooner. That's right, Boomer Sooner. I'm not going to say go Birds. I'm a Cowboy fan, so can't say that. But they may win. They may win a few here. They got the talent to do it. Talent and coaching staff to do it. For sure. Hey, I'll tell you what. I did not like the Schottenheimer hire, but that staff they put together at Dallas, I'm liking a lot.
Oh, it's grand, man. Look at Ohio State. They win a natty, and the staff just blows up. Leaves.
Yeah, but did you hear the possibility of who they're going to get at DC? Wow,
I did not.
Wow,
who?
Wow,
who?
Wow.
Okay,
I just wanted to get you
Say
going.
It.
Patricia.
From the Lions?
From New England.
But he was at the Lions, right?
Yeah. He's awful. He's not awful.
There's your name. I said it to you yesterday, Jay. Bob Huggins fills the seats.
They won't do it, Jerm. They will never do that. He got fired, Jeremy.
Oh. And?
You think Joe C's going to hire somebody that got fired for something? Come on.
He's
now.
a legend, Jay, please.
It would never happen, Jeremy. Come on.
Okay.
Jeez.
What else is going on?
Sean Sutton.
Negative.
What about Scott Sutton?
Negative.
Hey, you know what? We're sitting here talking about OU. OSU's in the dump, too. OSU hasn't made a good hire in a while.
Neither is OU.
You know what? Hey, you know what's funny is I was one time I said, go get Doug Gottlieb. Have you seen their record?
Bad.
Oh, wow. They
should have kept Mike Boynton. Should have kept Mike Boynton.
I tell you a guy that I would absolutely love, and I think you could get him.
Who's that?
Now listen to this one. This is a good one. Fred Hoiberg from Nebraska.
He's not leaving Nebraska, Jay.
Why?
Not leaving there.
Why?
Not leaving there. Let's go get Mark Few.
Gosh. Okay.
Let's move on. I really, in the world of recruiting, the only news is some running back stuff. But
hey, you know what I liked?
The other day, DeMarco Murray's still head coach. I mean, still running backs coach.
You know what I liked on this graphic today?
What?
Jaron Panic in number 12. I like it. I like the look.
Yep, I like it too, Jay.
I'm not sure what it's going to mean on the playing field. But
I, for one, would not like Steve Alford at all. Not a fan.
Yeah. Now, what about where did Patino's brother go? Is he still at New Mexico?
I don't know, but I'd go get one of the Hurley guys.
He's at Minnesota. He's at Minnesota, I think.
You talking about a guy who'd get fired up? Hurley's. Where's Miller from Arizona? Did he end up at Xavier?
I'm not sure, Jerm. I'm not sure.
Look at this. There's a Mavs fan.
I saw this.
That said fire Nico on the Jumbotron and got ejected from the arena. Wow.
Blake Griffin. People saying Blake Griffin. Bring in Taylor Griffin as an assistant?
Yeah, I think they should hire Eduardo Nahara. He's coaching.
He is coaching somewhere.
Bring in Eddie Nahara and sell it out. Victor Avila can be an assistant. You get Johnny Gilbert, Tim Heskett, shooting coach. I mean, let's do this.
Because that would work out really well. It's like bringing guys that haven't played ball in years. What? Gee.
You all right, Jay? Wow, Jay, you good? Hey, look, I've been saying it I've stuck my neck out there about the DeMarco stuff, and I'll keep doing it. I'm not sure he's going to be in a Sooner sideline next year. I'll say it. I'm sure Jay's sitting there laughing. Hunter's mad that I even mentioned it. By the way, I'll say it again like I do every night. This is the thoughts of me, Jeremy. This is not the thoughts of Sooner Surge. Okay? I'm waiting for Hunter to drop a comment in here. Hey, has Kellen Moore officially been announced? Because the night before the Super Bowl, people were saying, well, that was Yahoo. It wasn't official.
He hasn't been announced yet. He hasn't been announced yet. Has not been announced.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Come back.
I'm back, Daniel.
Richard Pitino is at New Mexico.
Okay, see, that would be, what about that name?
I'm fine with it.
How come a guy like, I don't know his name off the top of my head because I don't want to know it because the fact that this whole thing is, he's still the guy for Florida. Where's he? He's from like San Francisco. Where's he from again? Was it San Francisco?
Who?
The coach at Florida that's under the scandal, but is still coaching like there's nothing going on.
It got
cleared, Hunter said. Okay,
got cleared.
Didn't know that. But
hey,
he
Mark,
so
Mark, here's why, Mark. It hadn't worked out in football. It has worked out. You could say in basketball, it hasn't killed him. So that's why. You're trying to rejuvenate the crowd.
There's Sarge in there with the nightly comment. Hey, where's Chester at tonight? I didn't see him last night.
Yeah, Chester going through some things.
He's working hard, man. Getting kicked out for mouthing something on a jumbotron. I agree. It's crazy. And they make that trade, and Anthony Davis is out a few weeks now, so it didn't work out really. You look at it, the Mavs now without Anthony Davis, and then you got Lakers. The trade saga continues. I don't know if that's something more with that, Hunter. If there's something I missed, was there something extra to that? Hornets going to the league over it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Todd Golden. Man, it's worked out for them with Todd Golden. He's been really good at Florida. So,
yeah,
can't deny it. Anthony Bowie. Yeah, Wayman probably would have been a good coach.
Hey, no one has been hired. That's why I'm saying
this is just talking about it.
Mark, no one's been hired that used to be an OU a coach. What I was saying is, in football, it hasn't panned out very well. The hires have made that were OU guys related. In basketball, there haven't been any, but I think for basketball's sake, it would maybe create some excitement. Football, you don't hire an OU guy for excitement. There's always excitement around the football program. There's not always excitement around the basketball program.
And no, thank you, 1982. No, thank you. I'll pass. Pass on that. Don't know where Harvey Grant. I don't know where he's at these days. Not sure. Man, it's cold in here. It's cold and rainy here.
Looks like we're going to stay away from winter weather in central Oklahoma. So,
well, that's good. Speed D, get Grinch in there. My point.
What do you mean? What's your point, Mark? I'm confused. What's your point that's proven? Open up the phone lines right now. Open up the phone lines. Mark, give us a holler. Tell me your point that's proven.
Open them up, Hunter.
Open them up. I'm ready for Mark W. Riles to call in and tell me point proven. I'm confused because I thought I
Ryan Hodgkins, Arkansas State, longtime Nate Oates assistant. Nate Oates, I mean, if you're an assistant under him, you're probably decent, I would think. Mookie. John
Onches. Love me some John Onches.
Hey, you know who a guy, you want to talk about an ex-OU guy that's coaching is on the women's staff for a long time has been Michael Neal.
Has been.
He's been an assistant for a long time on the women's staff.
And
you remember Terry Evans was a really good high school coach. He might still be. Terry Evans is the name.
I'm not sure where Chew is anymore, Jay.
I'm not sure.
No. Phone lines are open. Make sure you check out the fan stop at thefanstop.com. Sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. You got to use code SURGE, get 10% off your first 3 months. And if you do it by February 20th, you'll get the St. Patty's Day shirt that'll be sent to your mailbox in March, and you'll be able to proudly wear it in March for St. Patty's Day.
Hey, real quick, before you get to Mark,
Mark's on the line, Jay.
All right, go ahead and get to Mark. What's up, Mark?
You got to use code SURGE, get 10% off.
Hey, you're gonna turn your TV down. Whatever you're watching on, turn it down. Hit mute on that. Then you there? Still got something in the background. I don't know what's going on, Mark. A name I was going to mention, though. A name I was going to mention while he's trying to fix this. Jerem, you ready for this one? This will be a big name. This will be a big name. Billy Donovan.
I don't want it.
What? He knows the area.
I don't want it. Hey,
back into the SEC.
I don't want it. Is Mark on the line?
Football side.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
What's up, Mark?
How many people on the football side have been bad coaches?
Are you talking?
Brent Stimbles has been one.
How many on the basketball side from Oklahoma?
They haven't hired a former OU guy.
So basketball and Oklahoma are no good, but football and Oklahoma are good, or what? What's the point there? Exactly. I did have it backwards.
Here's my point, Mark. They bring in Brent Venables. They brought in so many assistants that have been OU guys that have not been good. I'll name them: DeMarco Murray, Joe John Finley. There's been plenty that they've hired on staff, and they haven't been good. It's like they're bringing their friends in.
I mean, I get that Luttrell was bad. I didn't like that hire from the get-go. I mean, I liked the guy's story, but he was not a coach. He wasn't an offensive coordinator.
I agree.
Outside of him, everybody else has fit in the program.
BV?
Well, BV's another one that's, I think, if he gets enough time and he gets the right people in the right place, they're going to be good. And I'm not coming down on BV.
Mark,
but
I hope
who on the basketball side from the state of Oklahoma has been good for the program?
I mean, Ryan Humphrey's on staff right now, and I think, Jay, you can correct me. I think Ryan Humphrey's been pretty good. But outside of that, I don't know if they've had anyone. So that's my point.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Why is Hollis a bad idea?
Nobody said he was a bad idea.
That's what I think. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying in basketball, bring in Oklahoma guys. In football, I'm saying don't do it. They've tried it. They've tried it with Seth, Joe John Finley, and DeMarco. They don't need to try anymore with football.
Well, I mean, if that's your goal to not have the Oklahoma people in there, fine. But I'm saying make some sort of change because Porter Moser is horrible. I mean, god awful.
Hey, if you've watched any of the Sooner Surge, and I know you have because I know your name, you've been on here a lot. I appreciate your support. I've been the most critical of Porter Moser, maybe of anyone, since he stepped foot on campus. Jay, you can vouch for me.
Yeah, you didn't even give me.
Oh, I agree. I've heard you lay it down on Porter, and somebody needs to, because he's not Oklahoma's prodigal son. He is a god awful coach. I mean,
really good,
he just really lays down coach. So much, he doesn't seem passionate about the game, and he needs to go. You can put a goddamn rock in there where that would be better than him.
No language here. Hey, the Porter Moser stuff, he's a good coach. It's just not working out at Oklahoma so far. I think he's a pretty good coach personally. I think he can coach. I think he can coach teams. Really good stuff on offense too.
I wouldn't put Porter Moser in charge of a high school team.
Well, that's not a good take.
He just doesn't have the passion for a coach. I mean, I've been around that program. I'm 58 years old, and I've seen good ones come and go.
Let me ask you this, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Can a team make the Final Four without a good coach?
Good Lord, no.
Okay, Porter Moser's been there.
He's from Oklahoma. He's been there.
No, with Loyola.
No, he actually took
exactly.
Loyola Chicago.
You can't. Don't try to sell me on crap that you've done yesterday. I need to know what you can do tomorrow.
Look,
or today.
I agree with you. I've been saying there needs to be a change for a while, but the one thing I disagree with you is to say he lacks passion. Like, to me, that's one of the only things he brings.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Thanks for calling.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
And you called in, so I appreciate that. I got to say something though, Jerm. The Porter Moser stuff, I know it's not working out at Oklahoma. Don't get me wrong. The dude's a good basketball coach. I'll argue with you, anybody left and right all day long, any time of the week. The guy can coach ball, okay? It's not working out at Oklahoma. That does not mean wherever he goes next, it won't work out. I think he's a really good coach. It's not working out at Oklahoma, period. It's worked out in non-conference. It's not worked out in conference any year he's been there. But I think he can coach basketball. I don't think –
Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown retired from broadcasting.
Can't coach high school ball, but you made a Final Four. Somebody make that make sense.
I can't. He's not the right guy at OU.
Listen, there is a thing that happens sometimes, and it's not just in basketball. It's not in football. It's in real life. It's in real jobs that you go to a job and you're really good at what you do, and it just doesn't work out. And then you go to the next place and you just excel. It happens all the time. It's not just in basketball. It's not just in football. Porter Moser can coach basketball. He's proven it in other stops. It's not worked out at Oklahoma so far. But don't tell me
one other stop.
Don't tell me.
I'm going to say something, though, that you're going to not like. I agree with you, Jay. Loyola Chicago, he had 1 or 2 good years. The other years at Loyola, he was about 500 at Loyola.
Okay, but I just
he had 1 or 2 years. Now,
I'm with you. I hope to get it right.
I'm picking them to win a game or two in the tournament if they make it there. I just don't know if they're going to make it there.
Sometimes you got to get fired and face adversity and learn how to do better. Hey, sometimes it happens in everybody's job. You're right. You move on. A change of scenery, not just for coaches, players. There's players that aren't very. You go down a list of guys in the NFL where, heck, Baker Mayfield, he wasn't having a very good. Once he left Cleveland, it wasn't all on Baker, though, was it? All I'm saying is this. They got a lot of issues there basketball-wise, and it starts to me with they got to get some fans in the stands. They got to get some NIL. They got to do some other things, too. I don't know what you do there because you saw the women's game tonight. They're the number 16 team in the nation, and there was not a very good crowd there. I just don't know if it's ever going to happen, though, guys.
Yeah, it's a problem, Jay. Let's move on.
Gregod, I've said this before. You're dead right. Do you know the reason? Brent Venables an Oklahoma guy. That's what I've said before. If he was from somewhere else, people would all been saying, get him out of there. He gets some leeway because he's an OU guy. And I think that's the problem. And I'm not talking about Brent Venables in general. I'm talking about anytime you hire, like look at OU Step. When you hire people that are like, I don't want to say family, but they kind of are because they were OU guys, it's harder to get rid of them. Go ask Bob Stoops how hard it was to get rid of Josh Heupel. Very hard.
You want a name that would sell out Lloyd Noble Center right now?
Who's that?
And he's never coached men's college basketball in his life?
I'm waiting.
Gino Auriemma.
He's like, here we go, man. Some of your stuff, dude. At least you didn't say Hurley. I thought you might were going to say Hurley, Danny Hurley.
Gino Auriemma. New challenge in life. Can I coach them in?
Hey, I'm serious about this name, though, that I said earlier. Billy
Negative
Donovan.
Credibility.
Billy Donovan, Jerm.
Wait, Gino Auriemma, in my opinion, would be an elite hire. Jay, would you take Gino Auriemma right now to you?
I don't know, Germ. I haven't seen him. It's a different
Oh
game.
my goodness.
I like him a lot, but it's a different game.
It's coaching, Jay.
He turned down the men's job. Yeah. Hey, Scott Brooks, Sooner WXs. I'd rather have Billy Donovan. And that's the problem. Exactly. Does he make $7 million a year though?
Probably close, Jay.
Does he really make that much? I didn't think he made that much.
I don't follow NBA coaching salaries.
I don't either, Germ.
I mean, you really want to blow it out of the water? I got another insane name for you.
No.
Played college basketball in Oklahoma. Every seat would be a butt would be in every seat on opening night. Guess it. All you want, Hunter. Do it all you want.
Yeah, I actually muted you, not Hunter.
Hey, you know what's funny, Hunter? You said Nick Sirianni should have been fired. That's the worst take I've ever heard in my life.
Hey, Germ, who's your guy? Who's your guy?
There would be a button every.
Who's your guy?
Not saying it.
Oh, please.
Someone already said it in the chat. Go find it.
He played in Oklahoma. Dennis Rodman?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's not serious. You're not serious with that name, really?
Played at Southeastern.
Oh, wow. Germ.
No, I'm not serious, but am I right, Jay? Am I right that every butt would be in every seat?
But if you're going to bring up a guy that's a butt putting people in seats, there's other guys that are like you could actually get, and that would make sense. Not a Dennis Rodman. There's guys out there. There's guys out there.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on from basketball is my point. I've been trying to say it. I'm
kind of at a loss. I mean, I didn't
Mark,
think you were
Mark, it's always fun to debate. That's what we do here. If everyone agreed, this would be the worst channel in the world.
Well, that's facts. That's facts. It's hard to agree with statements like that. So, what else, Germ?
It's too early to start predicting a two deep.
Yeah,
because I
mean, for that.
Softball, you got Hofstra, Baylor, and then Hofstra again. That second game, Baylor, second game. Interesting one.
That's the first game I picked them to lose was Baylor.
Yeah, they're not losing to Baylor. They're not losing.
Okay.
Wait till after the spring portal to do what? Talk too deep, probably. Hey, Ryan, I know that was the point. I'm sitting here making outlandish, bold takes, man. Now,
hey,
I would love both of those. There's a great take. Bring back Lon and Kellen. I'd be happy.
Not happening. Hey, you ready for trivia?
Always, Jay.
And then Jackson says predicted too deep. Here's trivia for tonight. Make sure before we do, check out the Fan Stop, www.thefanstop.com. Use code SURGE to get 10% off your first 3 months. Officially licensed. Great stuff. Check them out. Here we go with trivia. I think it's pretty easy. We're throwing all these names out there. Names that could be the next coach. Names that played at OU. Well, here's one for you. Tell me where the great Kevin Bookout played high school ball. Where did Kevin Bookout play high school?
I'm about to lose my mind.
Well, he's not wrong with the last few years. They weren't very good. There it is right there. 918 got it. Stroud, Oklahoma. In Stroud, Oklahoma, right there. It's a good one.
I believe Lon Kruger made the tournament every year at Oklahoma.
Jerm, we've had this argument before, and it got pretty heated.
Yes or yes?
It got pretty heated.
Yes or yes?
Jeremy, I'm not going to do this tonight.
Yes or yes? Answer the question.
Yes or yeah, what? His last year was a COVID year, right? Are you talking about the COVID year?
Did Lon Kruger make the tournament his last few years at Oklahoma?
Well, he had losing records in the conference, did he not?
I'm not asking. Did he make the NCAA tournament field of 68?
Okay.
Did he?
I'm trying to remember his very last year there. I know the COVID year they didn't make it because of the TCU thing, and then COVID. I'm trying to remember
because Samurai Sooner saying that he was the start of the downfall is horrific take. I've had some bad ones tonight.
I would agree it's not the start of the downfall, but if you're going to say his last few years they were great, I wouldn't say they were great. They had losing records in the conference. The same thing that you get on to Porter Moser for, they did. They were 7-11, I believe, in the Big 12. I mean, Hunter, maybe you can drop Hunter, drop their conference records the last 3 years under Kruger.
They made the tournament. It doesn't matter.
So if Porter would have made it the last 3 years, barely missing it, you'd say he's a great coach.
I would say there's no issue if he made the tournament.
All right, let's get to Jackson.
The whole point of the thing is making the tournament, giving yourself a chance to make a run.
Jackson, you're on the line.
Wait, if Porter Moser would have made the tournament, would have been saying anything about Porter Moser.
Hey, you could go full circle and bring back Jeff Cable.
If Porter Moser would have made the tournament, no one would have been saying anything, Jay.
I agree, Jeremy. I agree with the tournament stuff. Jeez, I'm not dumb. I agree with you.
Jeremy and Jay, what do all the top teams in college basketball right now in men's, what do they all have in common? That Oklahoma
same goal. They want to make the tournament.
They're in the SEC.
No, wrong. They haven't successful NIL backing. I don't think Oklahoma has that for basketball.
Hogwash.
That's not true. That's
not hogwash. That's not a crazy.
Hey, Jackson, tell me the top 5. Jackson, tell me the top 6 teams in the country right now. Go.
Duke, Auburn, Tennessee. I would say, right? Are they in the top 6?
No, Auburn's number 1.
You're telling me. I'm asking you.
I think Houston is in the top 6 right now.
Houston's number 6.
Is Texas Tech? Are they in the top 6 right now, or are they just outside of it?
I asked you. You said the top 6.
Well, I can't just name you the top 6 teams off the top of my head.
What I'm saying
they
is
all have successful NIL backing.
Well, Hunter,
you don't know that.
What I'm getting to is this, Jackson. You are mostly correct.
Know that.
No, Jerm, he's mostly correct on NIL. He's mostly correct on NIL. Yes. What I would say is the only team is like a team like Texas Tech. I don't know if their NIL how good it is, but I will.
Dude, Texas Tech has money flowing in that program.
I will agree with you, Jackson. NIL is an issue in OU basketball. Yes,
I agree. Now, is that an exception for the fall off in conference play? It's not, because Oklahoma, they were still able to get a player like the caliber of Jeremiah Fears. So there still is somewhat some NIL here, because he's not just going to come to Oklahoma for dirt cheap with the quality of schools he had after him. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality.
Well, I'm getting ready.
Here it is.
I'm getting ready for
Bama.
Jackson,
so I said 4 out of the top 6. The other two I didn't say were Bama and Florida.
Top 6, you're dead right. Those are all big time NIL programs in basketball. Correct.
Yeah. So I'm not saying Oklahoma doesn't have NIL at all, that it's just not there, that it's just the worst in the SEC, but there needs to be more, because a new coach isn't going to want to come to Oklahoma if they're not going to have the NIL backing to be successful with the transferring in and out, because you have to be able to pay the bag for some players in order to get them. And if you want to have the chance to be good in the SEC, you need to have some top tier players. Oklahoma, I would say the best player on their team right now is Jalen Moore. And he probably isn't even a top 10 player, top 15 in the SEC maybe. And that's an issue.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're going to start. NIL is going to have to start being a part of things. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah.
You're not going to win consistently. You can make some
Jackson,
runs.
Thanks, Jackson. I can agree.
So,
I can appreciate the call. I can tend to agree about NIL stuff, but here's where I'm going to totally disagree. Okay, and it's this: it's the fact that go look at teams that make a run in March a lot of times. St. Peter's, Florida Gulf Coast. Not about NIL at that point. Make the tournament. I don't give a rip about NIL. Make the tournament and see what you can do. That's all I'm asking. Is that too hard to ask at the University of Oklahoma to be one of the top 68 teams in the country? You know what? You got the easiest job in the country. all you got to do in Oklahoma in basketball, make the field of 68. You'll never get fired. It'll be unbelievable.
Hey, let's get to Josh. Josh, you're on the line.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Jeremy, to your basketball NIL thing, like I know you kind of came to a conclusion there, but if I were to tell you that Brandon Garrison got 35% of OU's entire NIL budget, would you believe me?
Yeah, they wanted a big man.
Okay, so just take Brandon Garrett. I mean, because they lost Brandon Garrison to Kentucky, right, last
Yeah.
year?
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
so I mean, I would go to say that NIL is probably more important in hoops than it is football.
I agree because you can get one or two players with NIL.
You only need a couple of
change
guys
your
and then
team.
role players around them.
But the problem is, though, everybody's like, well, you got 2 draft picks on your team. How many times do you see lottery picks play for, look at Gigi Jackson for the Grizzlies, played for a horrible South Carolina team. You got to have more than 2 guys. You got to have more than 2 dudes.
And you got to have a big guy. Fact. You got to have a big guy.
I mean, big guys are like defensive linemen or offensive linemen.
you're
They
right.
are expensive and they are a dime a dozen. And
You're right.
like I said, I'm not giving Porter a pass because the coaching at times has been bad, but the dude is up against it tenfold.
Specifically in the SEC. I mean, you're dealing with teams that are just NIL wise way ahead of you.
Right. And coaching wise, too. I mean, what you're going to bring in another coach, you got to have the Jimmies and Joes. It's not just about the X's and O's. You got to have the dudes to match up. And that's not something OU's had since the NIL era started.
I agree.
So.
And that's why I think they win non-conference, because I think Porter can coach. But then when they get in against these teams, they can't.
That is such a bad take, Jay.
No, it's not, Jeremy.
Come on, Jay.
Come on, dude.
Jay,
Listen,
what you just said is Porter Moser can coach non-conference, but when they get in the conference, it's because he doesn't have any players.
No, I know.
That's a horrible take.
Jeremy, I didn't say it. There's still some things I don't think he's managed it well in conference any year. When you get into the back-to-back games and stuff, I don't think he's managed the lineup very good.
But here's the other thing. So people, he's horrible. He's awful. Worst thing to ever come to Oklahoma. The dude has been the first team out of the tournament 2 out of 3 years, and frankly got screwed last year by a Virginia team that resume-wise shouldn't have been in. So
Josh, I agree. They should have made the tournament last year. But the issue is they had so many chances down the stretch just to win one of those games, and they couldn't do it.
Well, the fact of the matter is, if he could beat Texas, they'd be in 2 NCAA tournaments already.
No, like I said, I'm not giving the guy a pass. I do like the guy. I think he can coach. It hadn't worked here, but at the same token, it doesn't matter who you bring in as a coach. Quantis, those guys, they're feel-good hires. They make you feel good inside, but every coach that comes here is going to have the same struggles that Porter's ran into. So that's just the fact of the matter.
It is a fact, and it's hard for me to think, how are they going to pump in NIL when you look at the stands and there's nobody in it?
Well, and the biggest problem, and this is the last thing I'll say, the biggest problem is you look at football, how many people go to football games for a fan experience? You probably get 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
Basketball fan experience is so important, and you have one of the worst fan experiences in Power 4 college basketball. It's horrible.
And it's the cheapest ticket you can buy in basketball.
It's the cheapest ticket in the SEC, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
I looked at South Carolina's ticket prices, and they were double, and they haven't won an SEC game.
Yeah. They're horrible, yeah.
Hey, good stuff.
Anyways, guys, I appreciate it.
Josh, that's a great call. That is a great call. I agree a lot of what Josh said, Jay. You in basketball, you get 2 or 3 guys with your NIL and then put around them some other guys, role players. You mean great. Now, I will say this. Mark is absolutely right. And something I brought to your attention, Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hill, Elijah, we could go down the list, 10 to 20 guys. They play for him a year and they leave. They bolt. He cannot keep guys. And I agree with Josh on the feel good hire. I agree. That's why when Porter Moser gets hired, you've got to go get a name.
Yeah. Hey, we got Chester on the line. And before I say something, Chester, I want to say, Colin, I think the difference is the game's changed since then a lot. It has changed. I mean, Kruger was really good. I loved Kruger, but the game's changed with NIL and everything. Hey, Chester, what's going on tonight, man?
Hey, y'all. Sorry, I've been extremely busy.
No, you're good, man. How you been? Busy,
I'm
huh?
all right. All right. I wanted to say that the other night I was trying to get to a point, but I was being rushed into work because we had a sudden lightning storm out of anywhere. So they were trying to rush us into the building. So I got off topic. When I was speaking on Switzer and Stoops, in the early 80s, they wanted to fire Switzer. I don't know if a lot of people know this because, he wasn't doing too well from 80 was okay, but 81 to 83, they were looking to get rid of him. The fans did it, but, no matter how much success you had, you're supposed to feed a monster, like he said it.
Yeah.
And then with Stoops, even though Stoops was winning 10 games every year after 08, that fail.
Yeah.
It really left the fan base with, maybe he ain't the guy that can bring us another national championship. And then I think it got much worse after 2011. Remember when we were hyped up to be really good and we weren't? And
I remember the talk out there about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I missed them old Facebook message boards.
Status quo Joe, as Sargent says.
Right. But fans were turning on Stoops, even though he's giving us conference titles every year, 10 wins easily every single year, but he wasn't winning natties. And now we've lowered the standards so low that we're like, hey, let's keep these guys here because it's SEC, or we're still building 4 years after some other guy. And this is what I mean is we have all lowered the standard at OU. We are just a mid-program now. And it's really embarrassing.
Well, I will say this.
I haven't lowered standards.
No,
right.
I think what he's
I
saying,
haven't either. But
he's
many
saying
have.
in general, I think that's what he's saying. But I think Brent Venables is going to at least get 1 year. Maybe, who knows? He may need to get 2 or 3 more years. And if it doesn't work out, if it does not work out with Brent Venables, I think the football program is set back for some years. I do. So I hope it works out because I hate to bring up the Texas stuff, but Texas went through a cycle of coaches before they found the right one. And once
so
they
did we before Stoops.
Brown left. And I'm that's why I hope Brent Venables works out, because otherwise then you go, if Joe sees the guy that makes the next hire, who does he get? And does that work out? And then you start doing this, you know what I mean? So I hope it works out.
My question is, next year, no matter who gets injured in fall camp, no matter what player gets in trouble with compliance and gets kicked off the team, or what coach leaves, what's the minimum record y'all are willing to accept to keep these people around? For me, playoffs, or they need to go.
I've said that the whole time. Playoffs are bust. But hey, I do want to say with what you just said.
If he wins 7 games, they're going to keep him.
They shouldn't, but
no, I'm just saying they will.
Hey,
anyways, good to hear from you all again.
Hey, you too, Chester. Thanks for calling in.
The only thing I didn't like with what he said right there, Chester, was when you said, "Who's going to get kicked off the team due to compliance?" Like, I mean, they had guys get DUIs that didn't get kicked off the team last year. So I don't understand that kind of narrative. Jay, how's Brandon Garrison doing this year?
He's doing pretty good with Kentucky. Him and Oway.
He was a guy I thought Josh Long was talking about that. He was a guy I thought OU went all in on and couldn't get. And you know why? And you know why, in my opinion? You're not going to like it.
You think it's because Porter?
I absolutely think it's because of Porter.
Yeah, but you don't know
Porter
that.
Moser refuses to throw the ball down to the post. He uses his big men to screen.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
And I'll keep arguing it, Jay.
Hey,
watch film on him. Watch film on Moser. Big men don't want to play for him, Jay. Kai Rogers is going to be really, really good, though.
Yeah, they got him. What's the deal?
I agree. Well, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, he's committed. I mean, he's signed. Whatever it is.
He has committed. We'll see if he actually lands up at OU.
I thought he already that's done deal. I thought it was signed.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know when you're signed that. I didn't know when you're signed that you can't ever get out of anything.
I will say this with the Crutwig.
I thought there's this thing where people just leave.
I will say this with Crutwig. I think when you're in the conferences that they were in, And you got to remember Krutwig. Krutwig, the difference here is this. Krutwig played with Porter for how many years? If he could keep some of these guys 3 or 4 years, I think they could be really good. Now, I think Godwin's got a top level that he can't get past. But, I mean.
Guy, hey, you put a truth serum in Porter Moser, he's going to tell you something. And I know you agree with this, Jay.
Oh, you don't know what I agree with. You do not know what I agree with. So stop saying it.
Yeah, because we've had this conversation. Porter Moser stand. Porter Moser thought he had the next Krutwig in Tanner Groves. Facts.
Well, that's one of the reasons he won.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. And guess what? He didn't. I don't know about that. I just know that you look at a lot of coaches that have left and a lot of players. Seems like a lot of guys don't like to stay on Porter.
Yeah. So, who knows, man?
Hey, yeah. I agree. That was the worst thing that could have happened was Tanner Groves and Jacob Groves in that game.
Yeah. But you got to remember the Loyola team. They had Custer. They had some guards on that team that were really good, man.
I think Mark's talking about Brady Manick. Even Brady Manick played all his career at OU. He grew up in Oklahoma, played with Porter Moser 1 year and said, see ya. Jalen Hill played with Porter Moser, said, see ya. Elijah Harkless played with Porter Moser, said, I'm out. Alt Mason, he's at Arizona State. Javion McCollum, let's just keep going down the list. Otego Oway's at Kentucky. Milos Uzan at Houston. Should I keep – those guys are going to be in the tournament. Should I keep going? Guys that played under Porter Moser that said, bye.
Well, I'm just glad that you finally mentioned 2 guys that are good because you mentioned guys like Alt Mason.
They're all starters.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Bijan Cortez.
Yeah, there's another one at Wichita State.
And CJ Noland.
Hey, we got corrections on.
What's up, corrections?
Hey guys, how you doing?
All right, man. You?
Yeah, one of the things I'd love to do is, what's frustrating for us fans is that we never hear from Joe C. We never hear from anybody, none of the coaching staffs, and it's like, what are we doing to get the basketball program back on track? What's the long-term plans? It's like, I would love to give to NIL, but I'm not doing it until I hear plans because I don't know how my money's being used or how it will be used or how it's being spent. Can't even hear from the coaches. And it's just aggravating. It's like, if you're going to invest in the basketball program, the football program, well, why are we at 86,000 seats in the Palace? Why can't we expand to 101,000 like all the other SEC football teams? Like, invest in our program from a school point of view. And if you're doing that and you're open and transparent about things, the fans are more likely to contribute to NIL. I would be more happy to do it, but when they're just leaving us in the dark and they're like, give us money, we're not giving you jack for answers. Well, it's just like
corrections. I think you can donate money and say, I want it to go towards this. But now I don't know.
Hey,
whether it does go to that, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Correction, 100% right, 1,000% right, 1,000,000% right, infinity and beyond right. There's no transparency at the top. And here's the deal. I've said it.
That's not just OU. That's any college.
But let me finish. I've said it about Joe C. I've said he's one of the most prominent, respected ADs in the country. People don't like it when I say that, but it's a fact. He is. He's one of the most respected. However, Sargent said it earlier. Status quo Joe, that's a problem. Everything seems to be okay. That there's, like, in my opinion, Joe C. should come out right now and say, you know what? Have a press conference. We haven't made the tournament in basketball under Porter Moser. This is a travesty. There's 68 teams that go. We need more fan support, but we need a lot. Come out and say what the issue is.
Yeah, and one other really quick thing. I think an interesting thing that the Utah Jazz have done with BYU is that the Utah Jazz have partnership up with BYU to give them just a ton of NIL money to support the BYU basketball program, and that'll be interesting to see how that partnership works. And it would be really cool to see something like that happen with the Thunder and Oklahoma and even Oklahoma State both schools, because it just seems like the Thunder's really just. Yeah, and it's not their fault. It just seems like it's been It's hurt both schools, and maybe partnership up with the schools a little bit, and kick some NIL and be supportive of the state schools. And it'd be interesting to see if they would do something like that. But I don't know. It's just this basketball program. We just don't. There's just no answers. There's no fans showing up. It's a mess. There's no direction. It doesn't seem like Moser has any support, or that at least the support that he needs. It's just frustrating to watch.
Hey, and corrections, but I'll say this, and I hate to be this way because I know there's some people on here that are students at Oklahoma, but Porter has to beg fraternities and goes in all off season try to get people to come to games. You know how much tickets are for students?
They're free.
Free.
Jay,
they're free.
Jay,
and
when the product,
I can't get students there.
I get you, Jay, but I'm going to keep saying it. When the product's bad, no one wants to watch it. Let's just be honest. I tell you what, like what Correction said, if SGA comes out tomorrow and says, hey, guys, pack out the LNC on Saturday, Thunder players, we're all going to be there to support the college basketball team, Oklahoma Sooners, fans would show up just because they said it.
That'd be awesome. That'd be cool.
The Thunder could help out. I love it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you calling in, Corrections. Hey, I got to say something. And Steelerman's right. We talked about this the other night. It doesn't seem like there's as much care for sports anymore. I mean, at some schools. But I want to say something. I saw a comment in earlier, and I think we could maybe leave this for tomorrow, table it, but talk about it tomorrow. And here it is. Somebody put in there, the game has passed Josie by. Here's what I want to say. And I'm going to do a deep dive into this tonight and for tomorrow's show. And Hunter, if you want to too, or other people want to. But I'd be willing, I'd like to look at ADs that were also the ADs at the same school before NIL for a long time and are now still there. What does that impact? Are there schools that have gotten new ADs in a new change with NIL and have
how long
really
Del Conte been at Texas?
What's that?
How long's Del Conte been at Texas?
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying all of it. I'm just saying I'd like to do a deep dive to kind of see since 2017 is when Del Conte.
And I'm going to close. I'm going to close my thoughts with this right here. And Sooner Cowboys, it's almost like dating. Okay, not. Look, I'm married. I'm happily married. But I remember back in college and after college when, of course, my first date was when I was 26 years old. But listen, dating to me, it's kind of fake. And when students and fans actually show up to OU, one, they don't know how to act because they're not really used to it. It's this kind of trying to concoct something that's not. We're trying to manifest some energy for 2 hours to get this team over the hump. You go to other places, it's organic, it's natural. It's not natural at OU. They don't know when to cheer. Look, hit the floor, do something like where natural energy is going to be displayed. They don't have that. They've got to try to concoct everything. They got to have a PA guy get over there and say, everybody get loud. They're doing it at football too. Stop. You don't have to tell people when you get loud at a football game or a basketball game. Ball goes to the net, I scream. Guy hits the floor, I'm yelling. I don't need anyone to tell me, hey, stand up, clap your hands, spin around 3 times, yell Boomer, hold up a sign, Boomer, Sooner.
Hey, I was at the game the other day.
That's a story for another day.
Hey, I was at the game the other day, and before the game on the intro, before they do, they say, all right, all Sooner fans, get out your phones and turn your flashlight on. And
it's unbelievable.
They play this song, and you're supposed to go up and down and side to side and stuff. And I look around, and the students, I mean, they're like, I'm not gonna like, what is this? Like, it is fabricated. I think is the best way to put it as Porter Moser stand. It's a fabricated thing. And
hey, they had a chance.
I've never been to a Kansas Jayhawk game. But you don't need to tell those fans when to scream.
No, and Corrections is right. The balloon snake was the best thing that's happened this year for the team when they were coming back that game. They need to implement.
It was just wild and crazy, and it was organic.
It was organic. It wasn't fabricated. It's something that just happened, and we need that to happen. Goes back to the fan experience. I agree. Goes back to the fan experience. You know what? I'll tell you what about this fan experience, about this channel. There's nothing fabricated on this channel. We'll just talk with whatever comes up. It's all natural. It's organic. Thanks so much.
Hey, can you believe we went an hour and talked probably 50 minutes basketball?
Jay, it's natural here. This is what we do every day.
That's
so
wild.
yeah, hey, appreciate
it,
everyone. You guys have been great. Check out the fan stop. Hit the like before you leave. Again, if you want that St. Patty's Day shirt, you've got to go to thefanstop.com and use code SURGE and sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Okay? We appreciate y'all. We will see you all tomorrow night. Have a terrific Tuesday, Sooner Nation.